Chapter 1. So, Chapter 1 is actually a mix of stories. They're not in order of, it's like a sequence order, like, of years and how they happened. It's just a mix of stories that I thought they were important, I guess. They stuck with me. Some are good and some are not so good, but stories that I've learned something from it nonetheless, and not necessarily stories, these are memories, that I've learned something from it, because we can learn good things even from hard lessons in hard times. So it starts with what I call the soldier not the soldier story, but the soldier memory. And oh boy, do I remember those times when we did a lot of that sort of training. We were in uniforms. I remember the white gloves. That's what I remember a lot. We always had to wear these white gloves. We had uniforms on. They were quite nice, the uniforms. I remember them being quite nice. It made me feel like I was important or something. And but we did a lot of practice for a lot of parades that happened due to a lot of important people that I knew nothing about would come to either visit the school, to visit the city, give speeches and things like that. So we were preparing, and there was a lot of the marching with props, dancing with these props. So there were hours and hours and hours and hours spent in practicing out there on the fields. We were in uniforms. Usually it was hot outside. It was miserable when it was hot with uniforms and practicing for hours. We had lunch breaks, but because my parents never really had a lot of finances, I pretty much went without food until I got home. And so that's pretty much half of the days that happened. We also, I remember there was this mandatory volunteerism happening in school, and people from work from a lot of industries were pulled out and to do things that the government maybe required or needed help with, and obviously didn't have the workforce. So guess what? We got it, we went and did that. And part of that were things like corn storage. The corn was harvested, and then we would I've never really harvested the corn, so I was never in that group, but there were groups that harvested the corn, there were groups that transported the corn, and there were groups that took the corn and stored it. And I was more in the group that took the corn and stored it in this huge, warehouses, places, stored it for the winter. We also went and we picked dandelion leaves. I was part of that group. It was miserable, it was hot, and I remember being thirsty. Again, I didn't have lunch because my parents didn't have that much. So, yeah, it was pretty miserable, and we tried to sneak in fun, definitely. We got in trouble for that. So you had to be very careful and witty, I guess, of how you did that. I would pick stuff like wild strawberries and so on and so forth. The metallic industry, if they needed, not metallic industry, but the manufacturer, anybody that needed help, we were sent there, and we worked for free. It was part of whether we liked it or not, we had to do it. And I've heard a lot in America of, oh, just go there and have fun. That's the most important thing. That was very foreign for us in Romania. In Eastern Europe, I believe. It's not just Romania, but Eastern Europe. That was like a foreign concept. What do you mean have fun? You were there to be productive, and you were there to be the best of the best of the best soldier of motherland. That's what you were there for, not fun. So, Eastern Europeans, it's hard for us to associate with the idea of fun. or our ideas of fun are very different than Western, population and people of idea of fun. So we have to learn to have fun, where maybe for some other people it comes just naturally. Oh, I remember we went a lot of the times we were taking on these hills and taught how to shoot rifles sniper style. Laying flat on our stomachs, and we were taught to shoot standing up, but I don't know why the sniper style really sticks with me, because I remember the standing up and shooting targets, different distances, different size of guns, and also the big guns. I am not an expert in that area, so I know the names in Romanian, but it's not gonna help you much if I say it. So anyway, but I'm talking about the ones that just the handgun, but as well as the ones that you put it on your shoulder and you shoot and stuff like that. So we did a lot of the sniper style. I remember that. I don't know, maybe just because I enjoyed it, because I think I did. So anyway, just a little bit about that. I have notes, so I'm gonna go through them. The good parts of my childhood were the times I spent with my brothers. That is downright, 100% for sure, the times I spent with my brothers. Caroling was very fun. Before we joined church and we were part of the group and the choir and all that, caroling was hilarious, because Sergio, my third brother, so I'm the oldest, Carmen and Aline is second, Sergio was third, and it was the three of us that really kind of hooked together and were spending time together, I think due to the age and way of thinking. It was pretty similar. But Sergio was the goof, with no doubt about it, and then we just kind of had fun with that. So we would do carolings in Romania. The Christian part was three nights. We went out. Communism and atheists didn't do it at all because they didn't believe in that. We took risks every year going out and doing carolings, and sometimes the police would come and chase us, but I think by the time I was a child, I think they were pretty sick of going and chasing all these Christian groups, because we were not the only group, there were just a bunch of Christian groups, and I think maybe secretly some of them enjoyed it. Some of them I know they didn't, because they were drunk and shouting out of the apartments down to us to shut up. And of course, the main saying that we got 24/7 were Satan's Christians, which is oxymoron, because we are God's Christians, not Satan's Christians. So that's funny right there. So, but yeah, we were definitely told a lot of Yako stuff. Easter tradition was another really cool thing, because you go with a bottle of perfume and you say this particular song that it's very Easter related, and you spray the person at the same time, because you go from door to door, and in return you receive money or colored eggs. Caroling time is the same thing. You either receive money or you receive a lot of desserts. So it's really nice from that point of view. But on Easter, I think Sergio or Marius, or both of them, would actually steal cheap bottles of perfume, and then we would dilute it. I remember maybe going to Easter sprinkling one time, because I was the oldest and I was always pulled back by my mom to stay at home and take care of my younger siblings. I always had a younger sibling, because every year my mom would either give birth to a sibling, to a brother or sister, or have a miscarriage, and she would always go through a lot of physical trauma, because it's not easy to be pregnant or give birth. So I would end up staying behind and having to take care of the household. But that was really fun. Those were really really good memories. I'm gonna stop here because it's about 10 minutes, and my iPhone just only takes 10 minutes at the time to upload to YouTube. I will continue with part 2.